Junior Witter, Clinton Woods, Ryan Rhodes and Kell Brook, all great world, European or British champions, continuing the tradition of boxing in Yorkshire, but none of them have come from Leeds. Leeds is famous for its football, its rugby and its cricket, but one thing it's not famous for is its boxing. Leeds hasn't had a boxing champion in over 50 years, but it's in places like this where the future generation of champions are coming through, and one of those is Josh Warrington. Known as the Warrior, Josh trains in the back of a small local gym in East End Park, but has received no help from the council to help with funding his training, a situation many young fighters in Leeds find themselves in.
If I'm honest, I reckon council might have a little bit to do with it. They don't really give gyms out like they do in other places. I've been to other towns, cities, and council help with funding for boxing gyms and projects such as. But in Leeds, they don't seem to favour it really. So I think that might be a major factor. Yeah, there's definitely talent there. There's some decent amateurs who've come from Leeds. Are doing big things. I think there's a lad from Bermontoft who's looking towards aiming for Olympic squad in 2012. But the potential is definitely there. There's just the facilities for such a big city have not been available as such.
Trained by his father, Sean, Josh has had 6 professional fights, winning them all, but the cost of training means he has to train in the back of a local gym.
I don't think Leeds seems to have the backing at local authorities that a lot of other cities and towns have got. And I think since its demise from school, not curriculum, but just seems to be that nobody's ever been interested in Leeds, for as long as I can remember anyway. Really anti-boxing. I mean, one of our rival cities in North Sheffield is on their school curriculum. We've got professional and amateur trainers from Boxing Board of Control and also from Amateur Boxing Association, are actively, as we speak, teaching kids in academies and schools in Sheffield. Leeds, we've just never had that opportunity.
Mark Dobson sits on Leeds City Council, and having boxing heritage from his grandfather suggested why Leeds' once famed boxing scene has all but disappeared.
Obviously, from the council's perspective, we don't have infinite amounts of money, and decisions are made around the kind of health and well-being, fitness promotion type of work that we want to progress in the city. I think in terms of boxing specifically, I'm not entirely sure that it is almost a flavour of the month in Leeds. I think perhaps a few years ago, historically, when a few amateur fighters sustained quite serious injuries through boxing, I suspect at that time it did change the council's position somewhat, and perhaps, I only suggest perhaps, there may be a tendency, if you like, to shy away from physical hands-on contact sports that's being funded from the public purse. Yep. What concerns me is that we have some very talented young fighters. You mentioned Josh Warrington, but also a guy called Jack Bateson, who was the amateur champion in Leeds at boxing as a schoolboy for 2007, 8 and 9. And one wonders how people like those two guys' careers would progress if there was more focused council funding and better access to training.
I took the short drive from Leeds to Sheffield to visit one of the world's most respected boxing trainers, Brendan Ingle, who has become famous for training former world cruiserweight champion Johnny Nelson and, of course, Prince Nassim.
We've got kids coming through here now. You know, they're in here every day. This place is open from 6:30, 7:15 in the morning. So before they go to school, college or work, they come in and train before they go. But if you had said in 20 years, boxing will disappear in Leeds, it's like anything else. You've got to keep on top of it all the time. But sport and music brings everybody together. Everybody brings them all together. So if you can get people working together through music, through sport, you've got a chance with them.
For now, boxers like Josh will have to fight on without support from Leeds City Council, but hopefully this father-son combination can finally produce a world champion for Leeds.
From Leeds, Josh Warrington.